Welcome to Real Talk with Life After Grief Chris, where we talk about relevant issues as it relates to individuals in grief as they navigate finances and the advisors who help them. We help clients in grief navigate financial matters. We also teach advisors how to emotionally and financially work with clients in grief through an unparalleled process. This week's podcast is sponsored by Life After Grief Financial Planning and Life After Grief Consulting.
And welcome to Season 8 of Real Talk with Life After Grief Chris. Man, this has been a journey. And it's been a little bit of a delay getting back to this season. As you can imagine, I've had some more life events. I'll get into that in just a second. This season is kind of a dedication to some of the most popular episodes. I was asked last season if I could do sort of a reboot with some video and some other cool things that I've picked up along the way of my most popular episodes. I had to go back in the vault and I had to put some numbers behind because there's been a lot of episodes. My most popular episode by far is my Real Talk with Life After Grief introductory episode. I find it interesting because it's about me. Second most popular is Life After Losing a Spouse with Daniel Kopp. And the third, which is interesting, it is an episode called Allow Me to Reintroduce Myself. And it's a little bit more of a growth episode from my introductory episode after I learned a few more things about myself. A conversation with someone who prevents grief with Heidi Burnett, one of my good friends. She calls me her BFF. And then another friend of mine, and it is debt survivor turned coach, Elizabeth Ramos. And another episode that I did is called How Do I Grieve? Another episode called Complete Gratitude. And this one's a pretty cool one. Modern Widows Club with Carolyn Moore. She's a very dynamic lady. And then A Mother's Grief with Lisa McFarland. She has released a book recently that I read, and it was a very, very good book that I was able to read, and she was gracious to bestow the wisdom upon me. 10 was Ending the Family Feud with My Brother, some real life tips and tools. And then actually it was 11, Fireside Chat with student athlete Luca D. That was last season with my series with some tips for young folks. And some of the things, I guess, since last episode is life would have it. And I find some of these things very interesting. After I created my business, I never would have thought life in terms of doing right by clients, circulates and kind of involves me to another level. And so the bread and butter of what I do is I help clients in grief and their transitions with money. However, what I have come to find out, and I'll give you a couple of examples, is that I had a client that has transitioned from no longer driving anymore and has come to really rely upon me with a lot of things that go beyond finance. I'm happy to do it because he's been a dear friend for probably more than 20 years. He just had a medical event that precluded him from driving, and he had a serious accident. Thank God he's okay. Another client of mine, in the course of doing business, I was subpoenaed for, not by my client, but a third party that is a defendant in a lawsuit that did some nefarious things. I kind of brought light to some of those things, and I was subpoenaed for that. It got under my skin because I have to spend some time and energy to do that. But some of those things are above and beyond what I would have initially thought. But it's kind of what I do, I guess. I get into real life situations that I can pass on to some other folks. With that being said, I hope you like some of the reboots of some of these episodes and kind of what comes to light. Cheers, be well, and see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. If you are a client and are looking to work directly with Chris and or our firm, head on over to Life After Grief FP. That is Life After Grief FP. The FP is for financial planning. If you are an advisor looking to emotionally and financially work with your client in grief, or if you are a client looking to get your advisor's head in the game, head on over to lifeaftergriefconsulting.com. That is lifeaftergriefconsulting.com. Any related information referenced in this week's podcast will be located here in the podcast section.